Today we're making petroglyphs. Petroglyphs are a type of cave art made by scratching directly onto the surface of a rock and revealing the lighter rock underneath. Some petroglyphs are hundreds of years old, some are thousands of years old, and they can be found all around the world. There's a lot of different reasons why people back then would have made petroglyphs, but whatever the reason, by looking at them today, we're able to learn a lot about how people lived way back then. Today we're going to make our own version of petroglyphs. We're going to make some drawings that represent us, and we're going to pretend that somebody 100 or 1,000 years from now is going to find our drawings and be able to learn more about us. So you're going to start out with your sketchbook, and you're going to draw 4 pictures in your sketchbook. One picture is going to represent your favorite pet or favorite animal. One is going to be your favorite school subject. One is going to be your favorite hobby or sport. And the other one is going to be your favorite food. So come up with 4 drawings that represent those things and make them as simple as you can. Because when people made petroglyphs, they were very simple because it was hard to make them. Once you've got your sketches locked down, you can transfer them onto a big piece of paper. It will be taped to a placemat, and you'll see why later. And draw them nice and big to fit on your piece of paper. Try to draw as light as you can with the pencil. It's good if you make a mistake, then you can erase it easily. So draw as light as you can. Got my favorite animal here, my cats. My favorite school subject, which is art, obviously. My favorite hobby, which is hiking. And then my favorite food, which is peanut butter. And again, I drew them very simple. Put your pencil away when you're done drawing them on your big piece of paper. And now you're going to get a white crayon, and this part is very important. You are going to go over all of your pencil lines with the white crayon. And you're going to press as hard as you can without totally busting the crayon. So press nice and hard and go over every pencil line. You'll notice that the pencil line gets a little darker once you go over it, so that's a good way to tell where the crayon has already been. Take your time on this part, no rushing, because this is going to be a wax resist, and the more time you take, the slower you go, the more careful you are doing this, the harder you press, then the better your wax resist will look. Here's part 2, the wax resist. You can put away your crayon and your sketchbook, and you will get some liquid watercolor paints. They will be in brown and black. This is going to mimic the surface of a rock or a cave. You'll have your water bucket and your brush, and you'll gently rub your brush on the side of the bucket when you take it out so that it doesn't drip. Take a little bit of liquid watercolor, and you can start painting your paper. Back and forth slowly, making sure your brush has a good hair day. You can do a watercolor wash. That means that you can paint the surface of the paper with water first before you lay on the paint. This helps the paint spread better, just like that. So I'm going to continue to do a watercolor wash as I apply my brown. Do the brown paint first, nice layer of brown. And then once your paper is covered with brown, then you can lay on the black. Black watercolor paint kind of looks greenish bluish, but you can see it's starting to look kind of like the surface of a rock. And take a look at our petroglyphs. They showed through because of that white crayon. It's called a wax resist, when the wax from the crayon resists the watercolor and it shows up. So it's almost like we scratched into the surface of a rock. When you're all done, you can put your brush back in the water and follow the rest of the cleanup instructions.